best with Shobhitam and your cell that you've created where you're promoting women entrepreneurs. It's really commendable. Before we move on to the questions, by the gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen on the floor, I want to have one question, common question for all of you. You can probably think for a few seconds and maybe answer. What are your views on what can the audience expect from Indian Angels?
Maybe I'll start this answering. I think change is the word. I would say that. मुझे ऐसा लगता है बदलाव हर जगह बहुत ज़रूरी है और बदलाव कैसे इन्वेस्टमेंट होती है, कैसे स्टार्टअप्स प्रेजेंट करते हैं, कैसे स्टार्टअप्स को मेंटर करा जाता है, कैसे स्टार्टअप्स को गाइडेंस दी जाती है, कैसे कि वो चेंज एंजल इन्वेस्टमेंट जो वर्ल्ड इट्स अ काइंड ऑफ बज़वर्ड जो मुझे लगता है, बट जो वो बज़वर्ड में इन्वेस्टमेंट होने का जो तरीका है जो एज एन इन्वेस्टर हम लोग देखते हैं, मुझे वो लगता है कि वो इस शो के अंदर में सभी को देखने को मिलेगी और कैसे कि सारे के सारे 6 के 6 एंजल्स कोलैबोरेट करके जितने भी स्टार्टअप्स हैं उनको मेंटर करते हैं, उनको बताते हैं, उनकी कमियां बताते हैं, बट एक पॉजिटिव वे में. तो आई थिंक दैट इज द पॉजिटिविटी आई फील दैट गोना बी देयर इन दिस शो and I believe that this show will be full of energy. We all are like very very focused. We are like very much into the system. We have done that, built that, right? So इस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू में मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि बदलाव शायद हो सकता है कि आगे आने वाले टाइम पे लोगों को समझ में आए कि हाँ ठीक है, एंजल इन्वेस्टमेंट ऐसे भी हो सकती है.
Like you said, Prashant, I want to add to that. Not only do we celebrate, as Indians, we celebrate cricketers, Bollywood stars, but now this is the era where actually we are celebrating entrepreneurs. And the show has something more. Now we are actually going to celebrate investors. We are going to encourage people investing, which has never happened before. So that's the groundbreaking change that the show has to offer.
बहुत इंटरटेनमेंट भी मिलेगा बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली इंटरटेनमेंट कंटेंट प्लेटफॉर्म पे ये शो जाने वाला है और इंटरटेनमेंट इस तरीके से मिलेगा बिकॉज हम सारे जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट आ रहे थे वी वर वेरी मच इन्वेस्टेड इन टर्म्स ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग देयर प्रॉब्लम. कुछ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स भी होंगे, कुछ इमोशंस भी होगा. सो we've seen everything. We've seen that what is required for an audience to get connected, and I would feel that this is going to be one show which will actually give you a good mix of everything: a business idea, opportunity to invest, stories, inspiring stories, and some learning that you get from the investors who are able to contribute to some of these guys.
अभी बता रहे लेडीज पर.
जब आप एक्चुअल मार्केट में फंड रेज करने जाते हो ना, तो आपको सिर्फ रिपोर्ट कार्ड मिल जाता है कि भाई आप पास हो, फेल हो, बस इतना पता चलता है. ये नहीं पता चलता कि 33 नंबर से पास हो या 99.9 से पास हो या 2 नंबर से फेल हो या 32 नंबर से फेल हो. ठीक है, अज्यूमिंग कि सबको ये पता है कि 33 नंबर स्कूल में पासिंग मार्क्स होते थे. तो हमेशा ना ये डार्क साइड रहती है कि एंड एक ब्लैक होल रहता है इन्फॉर्मेशन का कि यार गलत क्या हुआ. एंड एज फाउंडर्स आप ना बैठ के बस सोचते रहते हो कि व्हाट कुड आई हैव डन बेटर एंड देयर इज नोबडी टू टेल यू दैट, राइट. ये चीज़ ना डे टू डे डाइनिंग टेबल कॉन्वर्सेशंस पे या इतने सारे जो एस्पायरिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, उन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स की जो फैमिलीज या क्लोजेस्ट इकोसिस्टम है, उनको समझने में बहुत हेल्प करेगा कि वो क्या चीज़ें हैं जो वो रिपोर्ट कार्ड पे इवेंचुअली वो पास या फेल का नैरेटिव लेके आई हैं. ये शो जो है ना, ये आपको सिर्फ ये नहीं बताता कि ये गलत है या ये अच्छा है या ये बुरा है. बहुत डेप्थ में जाकर, क्योंकि एक स्ट्रॉन्ग स्टार्टअप के लिए ना ऐसे कोई सीक्रेट सॉस नहीं है और किसी और की अगर आपको प्लेबुक मिल भी जाए तो वो आपकी कभी भी सक्सेस स्टोरी नहीं बन सकती, इवन इफ यू कंट्रोल कॉपी पेस्ट इट. तो आपकी अपनी यूनिक जर्नी है. आपको ये पिक्चर्स को इस शो के थ्रू एंड व्यूअर्स को इस शो के थ्रू ये हेल्प मिलेगी कि वो समझे कि वो क्या क्या डायनामिक्स हैं जो प्ले करते हैं, व्हाई अ स्टार्टअप इज इन्वेस्टेबल और नॉट, सो दैट पीपल कैन प्रिपेयर देमसेल्व्स बेटर. एंड eventually all of this would lead to more successful startups in the ecosystem. एंड जो मुझे लगता है कि बहुत ज़रूरी है हमारा 2047 का $1 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी जो भारत का ड्रीम है उसको पूरा करने में।
सबने बहुत अच्छी अच्छी बातें बोल दी है ना। रियलिटी शो कोई खाली सीखने के लिए नहीं देखता है ना। रियलिटी शो लोग देखते हैं कि मसाला मिले, थोड़ा सा थोड़ा एन्जॉयमेंट हो और साथ साथ में कुछ सीखें। तो ऑब्वियसली आप सब सीखोगे भी, बट इस शो में मसाला है, इस शो में एंटरटेनमेंट है। जब 6 सक्सेसफुल लोगों को आप किसी मंच पर डालते हो तो ऑब्वियसली थोड़ी बहुत तकरार भी होती है, तो तकरार है। हाँ, क्या हमने लोगों को प्यार से फीडबैक दिया? हाँ, प्यार से फीडबैक दिया, बट एक हेडमास्टर का काम खाली लोगों को प्यार से फीडबैक देना नहीं है। जहाँ पे अगर कोई गलत करता है तो उसका कान पकड़ के भी बोलना, भाई यहाँ तो गलत कर रहा है ना। तो हम खाली सिखाने नहीं आए, लोगों को फीडबैक देने आए। और भारत देश के 150 करोड़ आबादी के देश में हम कैसे कई करोड़ एंटरप्रेन्योर्स बना सकते हैं, वो सिखाने के लिए है। तो आप ये शो देखिए अगर आपको मसाला चाहिए, अगर आपको एंटरटेनमेंट चाहिए और साथ साथ में कुछ सीखना भी है।
थैंक यू एवरीवन। डेफिनेटली इट इज़ बहुत ही मज़ेदार शो है इंडियन एंजल्स, एंड वी रिक्वेस्ट एवरीवन टू वॉच द एपिसोड्स as we come live tomorrow on Jio Cinema. Now I'm opening it to the floor for any questions. Anybody has any questions? Do we have mics on the floor, or yeah, we can circulate one or two mics. We have a mic. Just raise your hand and the mic will come to you if you have a question.
Hello, hi. My name is Arjit. I just want to ask, how is it going to be different from Shark Tank?
Okay, can I just request one thing? When you ask a question, tell whom you are addressing the question.
Basically to everyone.
To everyone?
Okay. Or the person who can answer it better.
Okay, so let me as a producer first put my 2 bits into that. The first difference and the biggest difference that we bring to the table, and which is, like I mentioned earlier also, the first of its kind in the world, where we are giving viewers the opportunity to invest in businesses pitching on the show. There is no fundraising show in the world that offers this opportunity. So at one end, we are letting people raise money from there. At the other end, जो viewers हैं जो सीखते हैं, yes, they do get to learn a lot by watching the pitches on the show, by watching the feedback from the angels on the show. But what do they do with that learning? A, yes, they can, if they're a startup or planning their own startup, it's great learning for that. Or B, you can actually make an investment in one of the companies out there. So that is the first and most important key differentiator between Indian Angels and Shark Tank.
Also, I just want to pick the point here that इंडिया में इतने सारे टैलेंट शोज हैं, बिकॉज टैलेंट को हम सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं। अभी अपर्णा ने बोला कि हम क्रिकेटर्स और बॉलीवुड को सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप को सब लोग सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं। एंड आई थिंक इंडिया में शार्क टैंक या इंडियन एंजल्स या और भी प्लेटफॉर्म जितने भी आएंगे कम होंगे, बिकॉज इफ़ यू हैव टू बिकम $1 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी देयर आर मोर सच प्लेटफॉर्म्स दैट विल बी रिक्वायर्ड। फॉर्मेट एक पिक्चर आएगा, वो अपनी कहानी बताएगा, और एंजल हो या शार्क हो, वो उसकी कहानी सुनकर अगर उससे रिलेट करते हैं, बिजनेस समझ आता है, इन्वेस्टमेंट करते, डील होता है नहीं होता है, मोर और लेस आपको जो है वो फॉर्मेट में आपको थोड़ी सिमिलैरिटी लगेगी। बट एक बिग डिफरेंशिएटर यहाँ पे है दैट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम ऑडियंस जो है आप अब स्टार्टअप में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं।
आई थिंक इसके अंदर में अलॉन्ग विद द इन्वेस्टमेंट मेंटरशिप बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होती है एक स्टार्टअप के लिए। और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वी एज एन एंजल वी हैव ऑल्सो ऑफर्ड अ मेंटरशिप टू बी द पार्ट ऑफ देयर बिजनेस and help them to grow to become a unicorn as like we have done. So I think that is one of the second point along with that the audience which have been able to invest. मुझे लगता है कि ये भी एक पॉइंट है जिसके अंदर में हम लोगों की तरफ से मेंटरशिप आई है, बिकॉज यहाँ पे जितने भी लोग हैं सब ने अपनी लाइफ में अपने बिजनेस में बहुत अच्छा करा है। तो उस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू में वी कैन हेल्प देम टू ग्रो देयर बिजनेस।
Hi Angels and Mr. Abhishek. I'm Himanshi from 80 Now. So now that you have pointed out that the key USP of the show is that normal people can also invest. So can you please elaborate how can they and what's the benefit that they will get apart from benefiting from the company's growth?
See, obviously, an investor invests in a company to benefit from the company's growth. Normally it's very rare that founders want their investors to poke their nose in the business. In fact, every founder hates that. कि यार investor आ गया and poking the nose in the running of the business. So at the first and foremost, I think the primary benefit is for individuals to make an investment in a company and benefit from the returns that they reap from that. So investors are typically meant for that only. It's very rare that they will be involved in the running of the company. Coming to how can people invest in the companies appearing on the show. So the website indianangels.com, it lists down, so let me start off, see crowdfunding is illegal in India. So initially when we had thought of this show, we thought we'll have a website where like how you have in the US crowdfunding, people can come on the website itself and buy their credit card, somebody will put 20,000 rupees or somebody will put 1 lakh rupees. But then after we did our research, we realized that crowdfunding is illegal. And obviously, we as a company and even Jio for that matter, there's no way we could have done something which is illegal. SEBI would have caught us within the first episode itself. So we've created a very simple mechanism where we want the potential investee and the companies to engage, understand whether they're a good fit rather than an investor just investing in the company blindly. So the website is there. All the companies that are featuring on the show are listed there. There is a contact form for each company where a few questions are asked by the person filling the form. So once you see an episode, you can go to indianangels.com, click on the company that you're interested in, fill in the form for that company. That form will be forwarded to that company, and if they are satisfied with the basic questions that you have answered in the form of, an investor is great, every company likes an investor, but when an investor adds some strategic benefit to the growth of the company, that's Sone Pe Suhaga. So the questions that we've asked is that can you contribute towards the growth of this company, or how can you contribute? So when the company pitching sees these answers, and if they do believe that you can be a good fit, then we connect the both of you, and then the deal is obviously offline because that is how it happens in India and that's how it's permitted in India. Where anybody can invest in a company, but that cannot be done through an online portal by itself. So to answer your question, visit indianangels.com and you can contact the companies pitching on the show to invest in them.
And merit in this particular fact that people can invest, I just want to tell you my experience that when I wanted to invest in startup, I was close to the startup ecosystem, so I was aware where I can put the money. Imagine somebody sitting in a city like Mainpuri in UP, or somebody sitting in Dhanbad in Jharkhand, and he has the surplus money. He has seen the story where people have invested in startups, made lot of return, but they do not have an opportunity to actually invest. They do not have a know-how where to invest from. So this platform allows to connect with those HNIs who have surplus money, who have willingness to actually invest in startup, but they have no access to the startups overall.
So essentially, I think it reduces the barrier to entry to becoming an investor.
Also, this might sound stupid, but is there a minimum, criteria for someone who can invest?
So see, now we're leaving it open. We are also doing some back-end research, and we have the team obviously working with SEBI on their norms. But since this is not through an angel network per se, if you go through an angel network, there are certain criteria involved in this. But in general, we are trying to see that the average ticket size for the investments in these startups is between 5 to 10 lakhs. Because it also becomes very difficult for startups at this stage, to have, let's say 100 investors of 1 lakh rupees. It's also not easy for them. They're trying to grow a business out here. At the other hand, trying to manage so many investors at such an early stage is not an easy task by itself. So we're trying to keep the ticket size of between 5 to 10 lakh rupees in a minimum investment in the startups.
Just to give you an example as well, so like when the show promo came out, so many of my friends started calling me and said that you are going to be there in the show. Is there a way that we can also invest the money in the startups? So I think that connectivity was missing. Even before, if you look into the other show which has come before, so in that show also a lot of people started connecting to those startups, and I heard that those startups been full with a lot of messages on their LinkedIn and multiple social media profiles. So I think that this particular concept of the audiences being able to invest will be helpful for the investors and will be helpful for the startups as well.
Absolutely.
Hi everyone, my name is Sumit Kumar Dubey from 18 Hours to This. सर मेरा अभिषेक सर से सवाल है कि हम तो बात कर लिए एंजल्स कैसे काम करेंगे क्या चीज़ है, लेकिन टाइमिंग क्या है अपनी कि हम इसकी मतलब कि स्ट्रीमिंग की टाइमिंग क्या है, और मैंने पढ़ा कि हफ्ते में 2 बार 2 एपिसोड को लॉन्च किया जाएगा, तो इसकी टाइमिंग ड्यूरेशन क्या होगा, और अगर क्या सोशल मीडिया से भी सवाल हम पूछ सकते हैं ड्यूरिंग शो, या फिर जो भी इसके जियो सिनेमा हो गया या फिर इसके जो आपके साइट है ऑनलाइन जो आपने बताया उस पर, तो इसकी टाइमिंग क्या है, ड्यूरेशन क्या है, और भाषा को लेकर मैं पूछना चाहूँगा कि जियो सिनेमा तो कई भाषाओं में है, वहाँ पे हम इस शो को किन किन भाषाओं में टेलीकास्ट करेंगे?
एक तो सिंस स्ट्रीमिंग देयर इज नो टाइमिंग, स्ट्रीमिंग पे तो कंटेंट इज अवेलेबल ऑन जियो सिनेमा, आप जब चाहे आप उसको देख सकते हैं। द फर्स्ट 2 एपिसोड्स कल से अवेलेबल हो जाएंगे जियो सिनेमा पे, एंड द फर्स्ट सीजन इज 8 एपिसोड्स, तो एवरी फ्राइडे 2 न्यू एपिसोड आ जाएंगे जियो सिनेमा पे। टॉकिंग अबाउट लैंग्वेज, सी रियलिटी शो में डबिंग नहीं होता है, फिक्शन शोज में डबिंग होता है टिपिकली. So as far as possible, the show is in Hindi, but you know, I would say it's English really. Majority being Hindi, where the engines and the participants are talking. So since it's a reality show, ना dubbing करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है इसमें. It's not even recommended. So the show is in English, and there is no timing for it. It's an OTT platform. आपको सुबह देखना है आप सुबह देखिए, रात को देखना है आप रात को देखिए. That's the beauty of OTT compared to satellite television.
सर पहले शो की बात करें जो आपने बताया कि कल लॉन्च होगा, तो उसकी टाइमिंग क्या है कल की अगर बात करें तो?
नहीं, आपको कल सुबह से ही दिख जाएगा, रात में लाइव हो जाएगा वो.
और सर ये फ्री है सब्सक्रिप्शन इसका?
फ्री. Our episodes are very important. Good question. Anybody can watch this episode for free. You do not need a subscription for Jio Cinema to watch Indian Angels.
Okay, thank you sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to all of you. My question is to all of you, about you, the angels. So you guys have done a lot of work, and you today, everybody is looking up to you, right? So if you do a SWOT analysis, so what's the biggest threat each one of you faces in the future? If you can start with Shraddha and then Kant, all of you, what threat you feel in your businesses? What's the threat coming up?
Threat. I remember an investor asking me this question. He eventually did not invest. उन्होंने पूछा था कि if 1 year down the line, what could go wrong? So I think a lot could be looming threat. Unfortunately, COVID जैसी situations कोई predict नहीं कर सकता. So if something of that scale and that intensity happens, that impacts businesses across, because you're caught by surprises and you're not prepared for those kind of things. So that could be one. Second could be that I think इसके अलावा और क्या होगा, मतलब जब तक जान है जहान है बाकी सब तो कर ही लेंगे, और क्या थ्रेट होगा. हाँ, आई थिंक आजकल के सिनेरियो में जो वॉर का सिचुएशन चल रहा है, which is again very unprecedented and something that we can't predict, and there are international level political tensions brewing across the nations. I think that is what I and my co-founder Param keep talking about, that I think because that impacts the overall sentiment in the fundraise ecosystem also. Many of the investors have their headquarters, they're mostly based out of the US, most of them. And a company at our scale, if it eventually goes out into fundraising again, which will be, let's say upwards of $50-100 million in the next round. अगर हम US investors को target करते हैं, also to kind of expand in the international markets, whatever is happening internationally will play a very big role. And I think एक और चीज़ हो सकती है, which is अगर हमारे जैसे ब्रांड्स के IPOs वगैरह आए, क्योंकि इम्पैक्ट जो है ये ग्लोबल इकोसिस्टम में, फिनेंशियल इकोसिस्टम में IPOs अगर बहुत सक्सेसफुल नहीं हुए, so that will also lead to investors sitting on the fence and observing for another few quarters, and which could reduce the liquidity in the market. I think yehi threats hai. Otherwise, from a business perspective, Ayurveda is something that we think it may not catch rage like a wildfire, but there is enough market acceptance for it, and especially post-COVID, people have started to give more importance to their well-being, and they understand the importance of immunity and all. And from a team perspective, we are sorted कि हम लोग we believe we have some of the best minds and hearts and hands in the company, in the country also. So we'll make it.
Great. So I'll probably start by saying a statement on a lighter note. I'll say that my biggest threat is my biggest strength. So as in business, if I'll say, then you can see that the threat probably may be that if the people stops traveling. I don't think that's gonna happen, right? So we have seen COVID now. The entire travel industry is more than pre-COVID levels, right? So मुझे नहीं लगता that कि कोई ऐसा threat है कि जिसमें लोग travel करना बंद कर देंगे. Even as a matter of fact कि इंडिया में जो travel ecosystem है वो बहुत तेजी से बढ़ रहा है. As we all know that we are actually 5th largest economy in the world, and thanks to the efforts of the government who have been actually taking India to the global stage now. So in that particular format, I think that there is a middle class income group which is also now earning more. और जब आम आदमी पैसे कमाता है तो वो 2-3 चीज़ों में पैसा खर्च करता है, और मुझे लगता है उसमें से ट्रैवल एक बहुत अच्छा इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है जिसमें वो पैसा खर्च करता है. तो मुझे लगता है कि ऐसा कभी सिचुएशन आएगा नहीं कि लोग ट्रैवल करना बंद कर देंगे. अगर लोग ट्रैवल करना बंद करेंगे तो उसके भी कपल ऑफ रीजंस हो सकते हैं कि कोई एयरलाइंस ही नहीं बची, कोई होटल्स ही नहीं बचा, फिर मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स लाइक दैट, राइट. तो आई थिंक कि ये सबसे बड़ा थ्रेट हो सकता था, बट मुझे लगता है मेरा स्ट्रेंथ है. As an investment, as an investor, as an angel investor, I would say there are, again, the threats can be कि startups ही ना आए कोई. But I don't think कि, as we all know, India is like, third largest startup ecosystem. We have got 92,000 startups which are registered under DPIIT, and that number is growing very, very rapidly. If you look into 2017, that number was into 3 digits. Because of the efforts of the government with startup move, there is a lot of startups which are getting engaged, they are getting registered themselves. If I talk about startups, then again, India is currently 3rd largest unicorn producers of the world. We have got 115 unicorns, and apparently we are also one of it. So in that particular case, that I don't think that situation may probably arise, wherein that there will be a threat wherein the startups does not come in. And as in India, right, so we are a vast country, we are very diversified in our culture and in our heritage and multiple other things, right? So I think there are a lot of problems to be solved by the startups, and that problem identification is the key to success. If they've been able to identify that problem, been able to service the customers in a way which they would want by taking a proper feedback, then startup बढ़ता ही रहेगा, and there will be a day India will be the largest startup ecosystem in the world.
So I'm in the handloom arts and crafts space. So we are here to showcase the rich textile heritage of India. And the biggest threat to handloom is machine made, right? तो ये जो साड़ी होती है, हैंडलूम साड़ी, वो प्योर सिल्क से बनी होती है, हैंडमेड होती है. इसे बनाने में 4-5 हफ्ते लग जाते हैं और वीवर के. लेकिन the same similar product can be made by a machine for much less time, much less cost, polyester based, right? It's like diamonds. You cannot, a common person cannot differentiate between pure diamond and a fake diamond. It's very similar. I think that's the biggest threat, where people don't know the real difference between pure and counterfeit. And the way to go around this is to raise awareness, which is what we're doing through our Sari Revolution.
आवाज आ रही? आपके और आपके लंच के बीच में मैं खड़ा हूँ, तो मैं ज़्यादा समय नहीं लूँगा. सलमान खान का बहुत बड़ा फ़ैन हूँ मैं. सलमान खान हमेशा कहते हैं कि मेरा सबसे बड़ा थ्रेट मैं खुद ही हूँ. तो आई थिंक इंश्योरेंस देखो का सबसे बड़ा थ्रेट इंश्योरेंस देखो का पास सक्सेस है. When you've been growing at 100% every single year, it's very easy to let that success get into your head, become arrogant, think that you're the king of the world. I think if as a founding team and the organization whole, we can continue to stay humble, continue to stay focused on execution. There's nothing that can stop us, period. The insurance is the only recession-proof industry apart from Ayurveda and travel and Indian handlooms and advertisement or PR, which is there in the in the industry. तो ये मेरा आंसर. And please आप लोग लंच के लिए इनको हम जाने देते हैं क्योंकि हमारे भाई बंधु लंच के लिए वेट कर रहे हैं. कुणाल भैया.
मेरा एक लाइन है, अगर मैं कल रेलेवेंट नहीं रहता हूँ एडवर्टाइजिंग वर्ल्ड में तो फिर ये मेरे लिए थ्रेट है. सो हमेशा काम करना चाहिए कि आने वाले टाइम में आप ब्लैकबेरी और नोकिया बन के ना रह जाएं, आप सैमसंग की तरह इनोवेट करते रहो. सो वो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है हमारे इंडस्ट्री में. और मैं सबको रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा लंच कर लो. हम लोग नीचे हैं, आपके साथ हम इंडिविजुअली बात कर सकते हैं, आपके सारे क्वेश्चंस को हम आंसर कर सकते हैं. आई थिंक lunch is already served. So thank you for being here. Abhishek.
Thank you everyone. Since this event is based on angels, I'm not going to answer the threat for my company, but yes, I do have a threat. If the angels don't show up for the shoots, that is a threat for me. So please don't let that threat ever happen. Please do be there, be on time. And thank you everyone and enjoy the lunch and we will interact more while we are having lunch.